If you're hearing this, thanks for pressing play on another bonus episode of It's a Triple Life podcast. This is another entry from my time at ATX TV Festival where I got to talk to the creatives connected to the indie project Everyone is Doing Great. So I was able to talk to the writer, director, and creator Stephen Colletti, his co-star James Lafferty, executive producer and director of some episodes Michelle Lang, and Michael Grubbs, who is a season 2 composer and a fellow actor. Listen now. So, thank you for giving the time for during the festival here. I know you guys will have hectic schedules and whatnot, but we appreciate being able to connect with the artists in this way.
Absolutely.
Just to start out, I know that you guys kind of crossed paths years ago on another little show you did, One Tree Hill. Where did this idea to sort of create something together actually come about? Like, how did that conversation start, and how did you guys know it wanted to be sort of like its independent project?
I mean, I think we always knew that we wanted to make something together. I mean, we talked about it multiple times when we were on One Tree Hill. I think we didn't quite have the idea. I don't think we had the sort of the push that we needed, the initiative that we needed to do it until we were kind of 5 years away from the show, and we sort of looked at our where we had come from and where we were, and realized that there might be a story there that we could map some characters onto that we felt would be really fun to play. And once we had like the sort of fundamental pieces there, those like Jeremy and Seth, and we realized that we could sort of move in the same world that we sort of write what we know. That was all we needed to kind of get going. And then the next step was taking it to Michelle Lang to see if we could like practically get it done.
All right. Okay. Want to add anything or
No, I mean,
something to
see it right there.
Okay, cool. And I noticed the show is sort of like a little meta, the industry, but it's also centered on this like great friendship that with all the amount of TV we have now, there's so much going on during different genres and whatnot. And in this era, like there's discussion of like the male loneliness syndrome and whatnot. How does it feel to have sort of like this male friendship be the center of the story? And what's the kind of response you get from maybe male fans that are watching that may experience the same thing, but didn't know that they needed to see it to actually realize what they were going through?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting. We didn't write it to really create a spotlight on like friendship. We found that after the fact, a lot of folks in watching it and seeing it, have had their take on it and saw it in that lens, which really kind of opened our eyes to that and understanding. I mean, we knew a little bit of, as our generation's growing up and the world's changing, everyone trying to figure out their place in it. And, some of it is, of course, what we intended to do in the show. And some of it is just a happy accident, that there's, people gravitated towards certain, moments in the show and specifically like the male friendship. And really it was like, this is something I haven't really seen portrayed in this way
Right.
before. And, so that's been great. But, it's also, going into season 2, wanted to, continue to share some of that, but really make the show kind of always intended it to be, with more of a forehand of a group of friends, and so you see that more with season 2, where we've got, it's not only, about the relationships between the guys, but also between the two female leads,
Right.
and the group as a whole.
Yeah, really appreciate the question though, because I feel like we do not have a massive male audience right now, which is ironic because it's especially the first season is told through a very much a predominantly male point of view. And we, like Steven said, we didn't really set out to explore, like that wasn't one of our conscious themes, like exploring male friendship. But I do think we were conscious of the fact that we wanted our characters to be vulnerable. We wanted to see them in their most vulnerable states. And I guess we didn't realize like how rare that kind of is in TV. And so the responses that we've gotten have been like, it's been really amazing to hear people like talk about how they see themselves in the character, like in these little moments when they feel like, it's almost like, did you have a camera on me when I was doing that? Because I do that exact same thing,
Yeah.
So exploring the character's vulnerability, I think, is ultimately what led to it being perceived as this like, exploration of like male friendship that
and male
is
vulnerability. Yeah, I think it's expanding kind of what I was trying to say earlier. Like the generations growing up, I think that when we were growing up in the '90s, you're not talking about your feelings quite so much, right? Especially guys. I was just raised to like, it just wasn't mental health was not prevalent as it is now, and the awareness to it, the stigma was, of course, is there now. I feel like with the younger generation, you're seeing people talk about it more. They're more inclined to speak honestly about their feelings. So I've noticed that with myself, where, certain sitting down with like a friend and being able to like speak honestly about how you feel and maybe how you feel about that. It's like we have moments in the show where like they're trying to say I love you to each other. It's like there's these, they want to say it, but these natural resistors of growing up in the '90s and being like, that's not what we did,
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. And then when they approached you with this project, how was it to sort of see what they were doing? How did you come to it, given two male leads and eventually expanding the cast, of course? What was your vision to assist with their vision, as a female creative and then just as a friend?
Myself as the Lorax for the creatives. Like, the Lorax speaks for the trees and I speak for the creatives. But I do think my unique point within that is I also speak money speak, unfortunately or fortunately. And I think that's sometimes where creators get stuck. You can have such a really good idea for something, and then you have an outcome of where you want that thing to go, dream scenario, Netflix worldwide. But then what is the yellow brick road to get there? And I just come in, if you have passionate people who know what they want to do, they know they have the vision, they have resources, they're willing to pool all of their passion into it. I just like clear the energy and give them the yellow brick road. And then we skip down it together to Netflix.
Yeah. Cool. And then Michael, I noticed throughout the show, music is always a big part of an experience, but I was very tuned into how certain songs were always recurring for certain situations. Like I just became addicted to the song that always came up when they were like drinking and throwing the shots. I was like, this is a nice little ditty for that. What was your vision in sort of revisiting those musical scenes for certain cues, and how did it expand with the characters and the style of the show?
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted everyone to have their own kind of sonic identity, but I wanted all the sonic identities to mesh together. So it was really fun to spend the time. I got to love these characters so much in the first season, and in the second season, just to be able to expand on that and really dive deep. And they gave me a lot of room to really have fun and explore and, do what I felt was probably the best move for each situation. And they also have such a great view of, a concrete view of what the show is, that if I went off line, they would kind of pull me back and say, hey, no, it's a bridge too far, or that's not the right vibe for this. But it was a really, really fun process.
So awesome. Did you have an epiphany or?
No, I just asked them to turn off the music.
Oh, I didn't
And
even
it
notice
turned
that.
off. My brain is like, I was listening to the music, worried about your sound.
Gotcha. Thank you.
That's a
Thank you for
producer.
that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh no.
Going back on another question, given like this sort of state of the industry, you guys capture sort of the ebbs and flows of the industry in the show. Now we're in a certain point where sort of nostalgia is king. Everything's getting rebooted, remixed. IP is like the only thing people want to see. How do you handle that when you want to deliver something that was somewhat original, something from the heart that wasn't attached to a brand per se, and get it on a Netflix where they're looking for the next Stranger Things?
Yeah.
We are very fortunate to have a community behind the show. And, crowdfunding from the beginning was so instrumental to help people understand that the show was real, something that we were passionate about, and we wanted to just march forward and continue to make the thing. And I think when folks are vocal online and sharing their opinions about having either seen the show at a festival or watching the first season, really want to see a second season, that kind of feedback and engagement, if you will, that really is valuable to our show on independent TV. It's showing that these big streamers, while we went through this contraction the last few years, And we hope we're coming out of it. There's signs of it, but still, we're a little hesitant to trust it. So for folks to continue to get the word out that these stories that aren't necessarily with massive budgets and they're not reaching a wide audience, that people still want to find them. They want to see them. And so to me, it's the way folks are vocal about their shows online. And look, that's also what pushes forth a lot of the reboots. I understand that, and reunions is people are asking for that. But that's
I think this machine of the industry is so big, and it's already reactive. And if you try to be reactive to a reactive industry, you're already like 3 steps behind the curve. So I feel like as far as us with this project, we just try to focus on making the best story within our world that we possibly can, and hope and just believe in the fact that people are always going to gravitate towards stories that they can relate to, and things like chemistry and things like, just character development and the stuff that really made us fall in love with storytelling, as opposed to, hooks or what could be perceived as hooks. I think for us, the hook is your heart. And we just, that's what we're trying to get to.
Awesome. Trying to think here. Well, with season 2 already done, are there thoughts for continuation? Is there stuff in development, and where are these characters at in a proposed 3rd season?
Yeah, I think we've had outlined for a while some ideas for season 3. We're very motivated to do it. We still got to get into actually writing all the scripts out, but we, a lot of themes that we've pinpointed, a lot of where the story's going, and it's very the way we left off at the end of season 2. It really sets itself up for a lot to happen in season 3, and so we definitely want to go and execute that. And I think one thing folks can expect is, there's been a struggle. You see with the guys in the first season, there's a lot of spiraling going on there. You're seeing it more with the female leads in the 2nd season. The guys have their own troubles, but what we want to do is in 3rd season, things start to go their way. And James has mentioned this before. There's like a table behind them of like, man, when it rains, it pours, and this is what a time. What happens when necessarily it's not what you expected, or it's something you've been looking for your whole life, but you're there and you suddenly find yourself not fulfilled? And what's that? What's fueling that? So I think a different kind of crossroads, if you will, find these characters in and trying to navigate all that they've been hoping for or wishing to have, whether the relationships coming together, the professional opportunities coming together, when they're all just smacking against each other at the same time. How are they going to juggle that?
My last question for everyone here: what are you enjoying in your personal time? There's plenty to choose from. What do you click on, whether to just relax or something you have to get back to, if you guys have time to tune into the TV these days?
I love White Lotus. Like, obsessed. I will do my own version of not that, but something along those lines. I like the social commentary. I like the intrigue. I like the drama. I like the thriller aspect. Oh, it's just so good. That and Hacks. And Everyone's Doing Great, of course.
Oh, awesome. Anybody else?
I obviously Everyone's Doing Great is my number one streamer, as it should be yours, people at home. But I'm dying. I really wish they would do another Peaky Blinders season. I think that would be a lot of fun. I love that show.
There is supposed to be a continuation. It's different characters, but they have Jamie Bell and Charlie Heaton in this season. So I think he's supposed to be.
This is great news, dude.
This is the reason I come to ATX.
It is in the works. Like they release photos, production photos, and stuff like that. So.
Right, that's great. And in the meantime, I'm gonna just enjoy the 28 Days Later franchise.
Oh, yeah, I've heard it's really good.
I currently have a 5-month-old at home, so I'm not getting much sleep, and we are in the middle of a press tour. So
Gotcha.
Day up, energized, buoyant. So I'm watching The Last Dance, and getting my inspiration from the Chicago Bulls of the 90s. And And also, I like to just wind down with Michael Grubbs episodes of One Tree Hill. I'll just single those out and fall asleep to those. Yeah.
Getting all of the Netflix accounts and passwords of my friends and family members and going on and watching everyone is doing great.
Are you double thumbs up?
And double thumbs upping,
Okay,
you know,
good.
just trying to do what I, because like James, I also have a newborn at home and time is very limited. And we just want to continue to try to help push our little indie show through the algorithms at Netflix.
Yeah.
And, you know, people watching it all the way through, hitting that double thumbs up, it's instrumental to the life of the show on the platform. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting everyone's accounts. Pushing the show over and over again, and just to continue to even just, you know, pitch myself to make sure it's real. It's
Yeah.
actually there.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, I thank you guys for the time.